Hello there, welcome back to PvP. Today we're doing Dan Plays Populous, the beginning. Now this is a game that's been out for, it's pushing almost 20 years now. 1998 it came out for, originally on the PC. Then came out again on the PlayStation. PC version obviously better as it's much more, point, click, strategy, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to jump straight in. I'm going to probably do quite a few of these because I'm a massive fan of Populous. It's just really interesting, dead old game, so don't expect much from the graphics by any means. Hence why it can only record in the way that it does. But this is the basic overview. So this is basically your tutorial. Don't need the tooltips, I'll talk through it. So what we want to do is we want to get to this vault here. That's the Vault of Knowledge, and here is just one of the sort of the general enemies. And there's the enemy shaman. Now your main trooper is the shaman, which is this lovely blue lady up here, and everybody else, all the chaps, they're all braves when they're created, well, spawned or birthed or however you want to describe it, and then you send them into various types of huts, and they'll become warriors, they'll become fire warriors, priests, spies, all kinds of different things. But the braves, they're your main general force. So what we'll do with these guys is we'll have them build a couple of houses. Now the AI is not incredibly advanced given its time of actual creation, but as soon as this, an area that's put down on the actual ground, all the braves, even the ones inside the house, will just run outside and they'll go and help build it all. Now there's no real resources of much, there's only trees, so there's no ore or any of that rubbish. All you do is they'll go down, they'll flatten the land out, cut down a couple of trees, take the wood back, and the wood will obviously build the houses. But what you can do is that the trees do actually spawn naturally, and they do grow as well, so they actually grow back the wood that you cut down. But one of the spells that you have, which is the best part about this whole thing, the spells one of them is actually to create new land. So you can't just do it into the middle of the ocean, you've got to sort of connect up two pieces of land. But from there, new trees and stuff can actually grow on there as well. So although the basic map is only this big, technically speaking, not on this one obviously, but you can create as much land mass as you want to, which would encompass however much in the planet. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have them pray to this totem here. So she's not busy, why do that? And what this totem will do is it will help, well, it should create a landmass between these two areas here. There's a little brave hiding on the other side of this vault, as you saw on the flyby, and then only the shaman can actually pray in this specific temple here. So we're going to get her in there, we're going to get the warrior hut, and we're going to go through onto the enemy island and take them all out. Now this one's fairly straightforward, but there are some really cool missions. There's all the spells are the really crazy things as well. But you get things like hot air balloons. Now that is incredibly useful because you can just pop the shaman with a hot air balloon, and her range increases by a lot. So you can sort of fly around and drop, volcanoes and the angel of death on her sort of enemy units and enemy bases, and hurricanes and lightning. But quite simply, my favourite spell is the very first one you get, the most basic one, which is just a blast, which is like a fire blast. So we'll just have a look around here, mainly for the fact that it's just incredibly funny when you just nail someone with it. Oh, brilliant. But if you can time it well, and there's a big group of people heading towards you, say if they were running across this bridge here, you just fire one of these fireballs into the middle of them and they'd fly out and they'd land in the water, and none of these guys can actually swim, including the shamans as well. So if anyone goes into the water, they're dead straight away. So it's a really useful tool, dead funny as well when you nail them with it as well, because they just make that cool little noise. Now the language, I think, is just, again, for these sort of games, it's just one that they've made up. But there's only about sort of 20 or so spells, and each unit has got their own little phrase that they say whenever you click on them or tell them to move anywhere. But other than that, there's no real story other than the fact that the shaman herself is kind of being given a mission from the gods or something like that, and she has to eliminate all enemies across all the stars. So all these different planets, she'll go to all of those and take them away. Okay, now we've got lightning spells as well. Pretty cool. But the last mission for this is brilliant, where basically the shaman sort of becomes a god, and you don't have a physical body anymore, which means that you don't have a range for your spells. So like, if we have a look at it here, like the landmass, that's your range. Lightning, a little bit bigger. Fireball, a little bit smaller. The most powerful ones, obviously, have got a very sort of well, a much more reduced range, which is why you need something like a hot air balloon or a boat to get the fuck out of the way. Because as soon as it starts spewing lava and stuff everywhere, it becomes an absolute nightmare. Okay, so we've got the basic sort of buildings down. We'll stick down a warrior training hut there, get these guys on it. Now this is the shaman's kind of spawn zone, so you can't build anything in there. If you put things like swamps, which are like deadly swamps, if you put one of those in the middle of there, as soon as she respawns in, the sort of the magic will clear it all away. The same as if there's like, you know, because obviously you can't really spawn camp anyone. If you just got a load of guys stood in the middle and she spawns in, they'll all just run away like they've been attacked by wasps, which is also a spell in this, which is pretty good. What we're going to do... come on, guys. Right, so there's another brave joining in here. There we go. Right, so we've got the basic structure up now. They'll grab some of this wood, take it straight in there, and they should build it up pretty quickly because the trees are next to it. So we'll blitz through this mission and we'll go on to something with a bit more of a challenge on it. Now the buildings themselves, you get kind of like towers which you can place down anywhere on the map, and then as soon as that's constructed you can build around it. So it's like extending out your let's make these guys warriors here. So you sort of extend out your reach and you can build your base in different areas and, you know, strategize about it. There's the fire warrior training hut, there's a priest hut, there's a spy hut, a boat, like a boat launching place, a hot air balloon place, and then this little campfire in the bottom here, which is, you stick that down, say if we put them down here, and then you can just make these guys just stand guard around it, really, and basically anyone that comes within their sort of range, they'll run over, attack them, and then they'll all come back to the guard post. But they all kind of do this really cool sort of like little tribal dance around, and when you get like 30 of them all dancing around there, they do like big Mexican waves and stuff. It's pretty funny. Right, so we'll get a few more of these braves. Actually, I think what we'll do is we'll just train up everyone to be a brave, get everyone in there, and we'll just go in and plough all these guys down, because they just sort of stood. Now, I mean, this is just the sort of the tutorial level. So what you do is you just nail a lightning bolt straight into the middle of those. That'll pretty much kill all of them. So the fire warriors have got the range, but they're not very good up close. The warriors will be, well, depending on who attacks first, they'll beat other warriors, they'll beat fire warriors, and they'll beat braves with no problem at all. The priests, though, same as the Age of Empires ones, they're your sort of conversion units, and they are really powerful. So, like, if you know, there can be like an entire armada coming over, and if you just got a few priests on the coast, they'll just capture all of them, and then they're all your troops. But then there's different spells that you can get as well, like hypnotise, so you can actually just turn their troops to yours, you know, and they'll sort of join your fight for a small amount of time, obviously, but enough to disrupt all of their plans. So this should definitely be enough. We've got 12 guys here, so we'll send these over. So we'll just get rid of the braves. Now the shaman is obviously, their shaman is as powerful as mine, and usually when you start off in the map, they've got the spells that you don't have access to yet. You've got to sort of unlock them from those. I never get tired of it. I don't know why. Look, so that's basically killed everyone. So we'll just charge all our guys up here, get rid of all of them, and that's it. That was it. And now they all run about and have a little bitch fit. It's great. I know it's just like the most simple thing that you could possibly imagine, and it's not graphically great or anything like that. But it's just when you've got these massive maps and you've got all these spells, and literally one spell can sort of just turn the tide of an entire battle. You know, you can just drop their entire base into the water, or, you know, if someone comes in and just drops a volcano in the middle of your base, it fucks absolutely everything up. And I mean, I've had some really close calls, you know, when I've had to basically just restart from scratch, because I had like a whole sort of base, but I was in this valley, and someone sort of came over on a boat from somewhere where I wasn't expecting it, and they dropped a volcano in the middle of the base. The lava just wiped everything out, burnt all the trees, set fire to all the buildings. Most of the braves were killed. I was left with 7 braves, that was it, and just the remnants of the base. So I had to flatten down the volcano. There was like 3 enemy tribes that weren't attacking each other, they were just after me. And that does vary depending on, you know, whatever the map is. And I sort of brought it back from the brink, and I did manage to beat it, but it took a good few hours. So, I mean, considering how sort of basic and old the game is, you can still get quite a few good hours out of every map. The first ones are sort of, you know, giving you the basic buildings and showing you how to use them. But towards the later stages, that's when things get really, really complicated. So this map, I believe we've got to head over here. There's one of the first vaults of knowledge for powers. That's the Wasp. Really good for disrupting sort of enemy movements, or just launch a load of those in the bases, and they won't really put up much of a fight. So it gives your guys a chance to get in there. It gives your Shaman more chance to get into the middle of the base and drop some powerful spells without getting battered all over the fucking place. So we're going to build up some more houses. We'll get a warrior training hut down. Get this guy on that. Actually, that guy there. What they'll do is any spare wood that they keep, they'll actually keep by the front of the house, because all these houses will get upgraded. So these ones are the small ones. These are the basic huts. You only get 3 followers in here. This is your large hut, so you can have 5 guys in there. But there is a medium one as well. It doesn't go any further than that, so there's no research trees or anything like that. It just goes off the amount of braves that you actually have. So if you have a look at this house here, for example, this green bar here, as you see, just goes down. That's when a new brave gets spawned in. The one next to it is a red bar. Now that's how long it takes before that hut becomes a medium hut. And on the left hand side here, this is how many followers we've got. So while it's still in the green, all these huts will keep on spawning new braves. When it's to the red, we won't. So you've got to either keep on building houses, or, you know, to make a futile effort and get rid of some of the braves, and, you know, train them all up and throw them at the enemy for a bit. So we're going to get the basics up and running here. So we need this, get these guys to get in here, pick up some of this wood, get stuck in. Now you can build these almost immediately. If you've got enough sort of stacks of wood that's like lying about outside, you can just command these guys to pick each one of them up, send them all in there, and they'll build it pretty much straight away. But obviously that's how many wood we need at the top there. So we've got like 5 or so at the moment. So we only need another 1, and that's it, and then the warrior hut is finished. There we go. Right, so we'll get some warriors on the go. They'll keep all that spare wood just to the side. Get a few more. A couple more here. Get these guys to pick up this. Get out of the way. Get that wood. Build another house. Get some more braves. Okay. Right, now what we want to do here is we want to pray to this little totem pole. Now I can't remember exactly what it does. I think it builds a landmass like to over here or something like that, but I can't really remember. So what I'll do is I'll send the braves up there just in case anyone tries to jump them, and then I'll put the shaman here so she can give them a little bit of support fight, because she's basically your best asset. Now, she does die, she respawns over here, so, you know, if you're all the way over here, you've got to wait a while before you can get her back over there. But she's immune to the priests who will try and convert your guys. So she's usually the best weapon to sort of keep everyone safe and keep them all, you know, on your team. But if she's taken out, things can turn pretty fucking badly pretty quickly. But that goes for them as well. If you take out their shaman, it's just their guys versus your guys and your shaman. So you get the upper hand there. Okay, yep, so I was right. So we want to get those 3 braves that were just up here. We'll have them mooch down to this totem pole, get them praying there. Now, if I remember rightly, that will give us the tornado, I think. But it's been a while since I've actually played this. Well, this map, I mean, obviously I'm going mad for Populous at the moment. So, let's stick some more houses down. Might run out of room. Oh no, we can build across that landmass as well. So we'll get that little brave there, get him over here. Okay, so these are the towers. Now, if you've got things like priests in here, it extends their reach for sort of converting other people. Put fire warriors in there, it extends the reach for how far they can fire fireballs. But again, they're also really good to stick your shaman in, and you can fire lightning and stuff further than you could if you just stood on the ground. So at the moment, there's minimal sort of resistance really. They've got a warrior trainer, but the shaman is usually chilling out in this one over here. There she is. So we've got a couple of houses there, and a warrior in there. So at the moment, they're not particularly powerful. So this tornado, that will tear buildings apart, it'll suck up people and throw them around, and that's pretty good for sort of clearing out big troop encampments and, you know, just tearing through houses and stuff. So we'll make a few more warriors. Get them there, and then we're going to have a little bit of a push and see if we can try and take these guys out. Now this is what I want initially, which is the Vault of Knowledge. So if we can get in there, steal that power, and then with the power that we've got here, this is your spell charge rate. So the more braves you've got, the more people you've got, the faster your power recharges. But the more spells that you've got that are charging at the same time drains all this. So you've got to think quite strategically. You know, so the more powerful spells obviously take more mana and they take longer to charge. So is it worth using some of the lighter spells and using the guys to back them up? Or if you've got fucking loads of guys everywhere, then you can just go crazy. But when you kill an enemy shaman, you get like a small amount of their power as well. So it does really help with sort of like charging everything up. So let's take these guys in there. I haven't got any. See, what you can do is you can sort of terraform as well. Alright, okay, thanks for that. So you can terraform, make this land, you know, sink it into the sea or make it higher, whichever you want to do. But we just want to might be able to get another house down here. Yeah. Another one? No. So every building has got its own range, but that's where the guard towers obviously come in really handy. So if we take these guys over here, this guy should just run straight to the middle wall, and he'll get bad. Oh shit. Switch the spells. Fireball! Way! There we go. So hopefully, if our warriors outnumber theirs, they'll just beat them all to death. There we go, brilliant. So we'll get in there, tear that apart. But as soon as you start attacking buildings, obviously, it sort of sounds the alarm, everyone goes fucking crazy. But in this case, I think we're doing alright. We'll just charge these guys in here. Finish these braves off. Braves against warriors, they just don't stand a chance. A warrior can usually take out sort of like 3 or 4 braves on his own before it can overpower him. The shaman's not incredibly good at hand-to-hand combat, but she can hold her own. But you've got to keep her protected with the other guys as well. There we go. So that's one of their buildings gone. We'll send the shaman into the Vault of Knowledge, where we've got these little guys sort of milling about. Now, I know for a fact that this shaman that's in here, she will start launching wasps all over the fucking place as soon as she gets the chance to. So, what we'll do is we'll just take out this house over here. And we'll take out the warrior training hut as well, because without that, they're pretty fucked. So, these warriors here should be light work on these little motherfuckers. There we go. Okay, right, so we've now got power of the swarm, which just basically just launches a load of fucking hornets at everyone. And they all shit themselves and just run off like that. So they become useless for a small amount of time. Oh. Now she is kind of immune to the majority of her own spells, with the exception of things like the volcano, which launches lava everywhere. But there's a really cool one called the Firestorm, and she's immune to that as well. Oh, where are they off to? Cheeky bastards. Right, so I think they were making a break for my base then, and they would have pretty much fucked up all my braves. Shit. Oh, there we go. So we spurred him into a little bit of a fight. Come back here, you fucker. Right, now the key is, we'll let those 3... let the shaman waste all of her mana by launching wasps all over the place. And then we can just drop a tornado straight on that bitch. There we go. Freak, she might have fucked up. Never mind, it's okay. Shaman's immune to it. We'll bash a tornado in there. And there she goes. Whee! Brilliant. Okay, now we'll just launch these. Ah, fuck. Yep, so 2 warriors just overpowered her completely then. She just got absolutely battered. But I've still got mine. Shift select. Now that only works obviously when they're not being not being chased all over the place by fucking wasps. But oh Christ, they're actually beating up my warriors at the moment. Ah, there we go. Right. Now the key to winning is as soon as you've taken out the shaman and all of her braves, all of her followers, you win, regardless of however many buildings you've got. There you go. See. Right. Okay. Well, that's level 2 done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do another one of these, but on one of the harder levels, which means that you can see how things are with, you know, multiple bad guys, more powerful spells, that kind of thing. So thanks all for joining us on Populous. This is Dan. See you later. Bye-bye.